And yo, what's poppin', man? Hope you guys have been doing great. Back-to-back videos on this channel, bro. That's how we do, okay? Unlimited energy all the time. You know, nose injury or not, bro, we're still pumping out videos, bro. Remember, always check the description of these videos to go and join my Telegram channel. You guys will be able to see some of the screenshots. And if you guys don't see the link to my Telegram channel on one of these videos, go and check the other videos, because sometimes I do be forgetting. Okay? Alright, man. What do I want to do again? My mind just went blank. Nokia. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is what I wanted to do. So, we have a bunch of these trades that happened during this week. So, if you're looking at the charts right now, we have a bunch of these trades, right? No sell up here. Sell from the open close. Stacked sell. You know, freaking beautiful buy over here that went for God knows how many pips. This one, right? Over 300 pips. There was a little interim sell over here. Another buy. And the sell up here, which was yesterday. Okay, so we're going to be covering these guys because these are the trades that I've taken, right? So okay, first of all, this is what I've been posting on AKFX, so that's why I'm making a video so that you guys can understand why. So first of all, what the hell is this? All right, so we have ourselves opportunity 1, opportunity 2. What are these lines? Blah blah blah. This line at the top is the daily, so let me go ahead and show you guys that line at the top, which is the daily. 1 second. DXY. What the hell is a DXY, bro? I know it's the dollar index, but no one uses it. Okay, so that's the top line, so you guys know that. Let's go back to here. Okay, what is this line? Obviously daily left shoulder. Now there's daily left shoulder, this daily open close. These two zones are inside of a weekly resistance. So let me go and show you guys that weekly resistance so you guys know, right? Daily left shoulder, daily open close, and these guys are inside of a weekly resistance. See? So we're going to draw a line. Excuse me. Oh, bro, why do I have heart palpitations, man? Didn't sleep enough last night, maybe. Buy, sell, and right here. Oh, it's the coffee. I took coffee. Like, I don't ever drink coffee, and I took coffee. No wonder. Buy, sell. Okay? That's the weekly. So, yeah. So, inside that weekly, what do we have? Okay. We have ourselves, boom. Open, close, boom. Left shoulder. Right? Beautiful. Let's move on. So I just want you guys to understand some of the stuff that I post on there. And what's the meaning opportunity 1, opportunity 2? So during this time, right here as we're looking at this screenshot, weekly was clearly bullish. Monthly's always been bullish, even now monthly's bullish, but weekly has clearly been bullish. Okay? And then what happened was price made that buy sell weekly resistance. Now, weekly resistance is obviously going to be significant. Why? Because the weekly resistance is the obstacle for the monthly bullish storyline. Understood? So that's the reason why I'm paying attention to this weekly resistance, because it is going to serve as an obstacle to the monthly bullish storyline. Price can reverse from here. Price can maybe just sell a bit, come back in here, blah, 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 boom. So what I'm expecting, ideally, so my ideal expectation, I'll tell you guys, would be a nice, would be a nice play like that. Completely take out the highs. That's my ideal expectation. Whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. I'm not a predictor. I'm a reactor. Okay? So that's, now you guys know why the weekly is significant. Now, let's get into opportunity 1, opportunity 2. So weekly is for buys. Okay, weekly was for buys. Back when price was right here, weekly was for buys. So the reason why I wanted to look at this is just really simple. Weekly is bullish storyline. We've all understood, right? Weekly is bullish storyline. Back here, just back here, right here, in this very moment, weekly was still bullish. Okay, because we never had a weekly bearish. Now we have a reason for that, but previously we didn't. Okay, weekly was bullish. So I said, okay, if price does a daily reject daily and H4 bullish breakout, we can say what? Daily bullish storyline, weekly bullish storyline, monthly bullish storyline. Understood? So what happened was this. Price came in here to this daily. Again, understand, weekly was always bullish. During this time, weekly was bullish. Price came in here and did a daily reject daily. Can we understand that, guys? Daily reject daily. Now again, why are we paying so much attention to this open close? Because it's also together with a daily bullish engulfing. Oh, it's raining. Interesting. Anyway, we have ourselves open close together with a bullish engulfing of the daily. So these are like super important open closes. The open closes that are together with see, like this one, that are together with engulfings, these are the super important ones that I really like. Price comes in here, daily reject daily. Look, we can go ahead and look at the H4. Boom, she breaks out. Where did it break out? Right here. Okay, buy, sell, that's the resistance that caused the tap into the daily, and she gets broken up. Okay, so daily reject daily, H4 bullish storyline, and so that means what? Daily is in sync with the weekly and of course the monthly. So price then peaks, price comes back, and this is a daily. This is officially a daily that I can take a look at, right, inside this daily, because we're playing daily bullish storyline, weekly bullish storyline, so we can take a look at some dailies. So we head into the H4. Okay, this is the daily. There's nothing fresh in here, no problem. Maybe we can see something down in here, right? And we have this is our last resort. Okay, this is our last resort. This is the first opportunity that we can play from. And as you know, price completely tanks us out. Completely takes us out. Oh wait, what I wanted to show you was, yeah, that was the first buy opportunity. It was right in here. Okay, and then the second one below that. Alright, so I hope you guys get what I'm trying to show you guys there. Okay, and price completely takes us out. Completely. Boom, just destroyed. Right? Alright, no problem. Okay, now, so that was the first opportunity. I want you guys to understand these things. It's not about, oh, but it took us out. Yes, it did take us out. Absolutely, it took us out. Okay, so that's the first reason why I put that as the opportunity, because weekly bullish, daily was also bullish. Okay, simple. Second opportunity down here. Why was this so important? Now, again, I'm using IC Markets as my broker. I don't know whether this actually tapped. Yes, it did actually tap. Cool, interesting to know that. Oh, and I actually did tap this one. Okay, so we're having what? Still, by the way, we're in weekly bullish. Just want to put that out there. We're still in weekly bullish, all right? And this is a daily. Now, this daily is very significant. Why? This daily is very significant because this daily is also together with a weekly support. Very simple. So we're in monthly bullish, which means weekly is significant for our buys. Weekly is also significant for our obstacles, okay? And price has made its way to a weekly buy area. Very important. And it so happens to be that it's MTF'd with a daily. So what I did was very simple. You can just go to the H4 and start refining your reasons from there. Now, this is a broker discrepancy on IC Markets, on Hot Forex. This was actually a proper SNR. It was not an open close. This is a proper SNR. But regardless, this is a MTF from the weekly, daily, H4, and H1 still has a proper SNR, right? We have ourselves the buy, sell, and we have ourselves which is the proper SNR, and we have another open close. So this is still a perfectly valid area to take a look at. You guys have to understand, just because I say, okay, from daily, look at the H4 first, doesn't mean you only look at the H4. Look at the H1. Is there something better there? If there's something looking better there, then that's another reason, correct? So there you go. Okay, now over here, I'm not sure what trend line I used, which is annoying because I just took this trade. I believe it may have been this one. It could have been this one. It may have been something else as well. But again, when it comes to trend lines, it's not about, oh, must my trend line be perfect? No, as long as your trend line doesn't have the bodies of the candles cutting through it. So I'll give you an example. So for example, we have something like this, right? You can't say that this trend line got respected because the body of the candle broke up above it. You don't want the body of the candle to break up above it. But over here, still, this is still respecting because it's just the wicks, right? But if you can find a better one that's lining up really nicely or much better with the zone, then that's even better. Props to you then, okay? So yeah, that's all I wanted to really tell you guys. I think I may have used some BS like this or something. That wouldn't have aligned either. I don't know what I used, but I used one of these guys, okay? And again, as I said, when it comes to trend line, I don't like to pay too much attention to it because it's more subjective than anything. As long as you have something that lines up, good for you. Okay, so that's why I don't like to pay too much attention to trend line in my videos. So hope you guys understood, first of all, what this screenshot entailed. All right, these are the two zones that I would like to look for sells from. Now, let's move on to the actual breakdowns. Okay, so we go into daily intra. Nope, we go into this guy. Beautiful. All right, so let's talk about this guy right here. Okay, the sell from here, the stacked sell. Very simple to understand this one. Very easy. We are in weekly resistance. Again, weekly is bullish storyline still at this candle's moment right here. Weekly is still a bullish storyline. So we want to take a high risk sell. Very simple. We go from weekly, we go to daily. Inside daily, we go and mark out what's there. We have ourselves a open close, and this is a nice open close because it's together with a engulfing, and we have ourselves the left shoulder. So we're gonna take care of this one first, so we don't be too messy. Okay. Daily open close, hit to the H4, Hit to the H4 and see, okay, what do we have in here? Why does this H4 look different? Anyway, I would have to cross-check on my broker. But anyway, daily to H4. H4 also has this zone right here. Let me go to the daily and draw a line. This is annoying, bro. Line, let's go to page 4. So I hope you guys understand why I'm looking at this. This is a sell zone that we're currently in. So even though we're in monthly bullish, weekly bullish, understand this. Even though we're in monthly bullish, weekly bullish, maybe, who knows, even daily bullish, right? We're in a zone that it's not too smart for us to keep buying in here, correct? It's not too smart for us to keep buying in here. There's more reason for us to place a sell, or if you're more on the side of, I don't want to take too many risks, you just stay on the sidelines. You just stay on the sidelines until price comes into a better area, into a more convincing area. Here, price is not convincing enough for me to take buys. It's better for me to take sells. First reason, because we're in a weekly resistance. Okay, listen. First reason is because we're in a weekly resistance. Second reason, it's MTF'd with a daily. Okay, and the fact that we're in a weekly resistance is very significant because we have a monthly bullish storyline, meaning weekly is going to be our obstacle. Finish, done. That's why weekly. Weekly go to daily, daily go to H4. You can see in this exact same area, we have ourselves a fresh H4 open close. All right, hit to the H1. In this H1, the entire zone will be something like this. So we already drew this. So see, open close. This is just an open close refined from the H4. That's it. And what's the nearest next zone? You could say this one. You could say this one. I drew it to here. Why? I don't know. This is a breakdown video, and I'm telling you what I did. Okay. This is the first H1 zone where it's all, like H1 together with H4 together with daily together with, all together one place. So that's the area. And did I have a trend line? I don't think I had any trend line reason to take from here. You could find something, but I don't think I took any trend line reason, to be very honest with you. Okay, but this, I hope you understand now. This is a touch trade, meaning this is a high risk trade. High risk is also something that when you you'll see. Oh, Avi, you say it's high risk, but how come you always seem to take these trades, right? And I take them with a good amount of risk too, because I understand. I flow and I float with the charts. I understand these things better. You know how I told you guys in the previous video a couple months ago, I think around December, mid-December to January, I had my lowest win rate, which was around 55 to 60% win rate, simply because I wasn't paying attention to the charts that well. Once I noticed I took a dip in my win rate, guess what? I immediately stopped taking these kind of trades. You want to know what I did? I started resorting to my signature setup, which is, I'll cover that in a different video. It's very simple. It's just like time frame, reject time frame, and then one time frame below creates a new resistance or support, and I only take it like that. Okay, and what I was doing in my free time, I was back testing so I can get myself back up to speed. This is something not a lot of people do. Once your win rate dips, yes, sometimes you could have just been taking stupid trades, but another reason is because you haven't been focusing on the charts. You don't have to spend that much time on the charts, guys. Less than an hour a day, you're good. When you're first starting off, obviously spend as much time as you can on the charts, but less than an hour a day, you're good. Once you've picked up. Now my win rate's climbing back up to 80s, bro. That's no joke because I understand it so much better. Okay, so anyway, yeah. Took this trade, sell, and I told you the reason why. Monthly bullish storyline, weeklies are obstacle. This is a weekly we're in right now. Weekly we're in. So weekly refined to daily. Daily open close together with a bearish engulfing. Very nice type of open close. Daily refined to H4. H4 open close. H4 refined to H1. H1 MTF. H4 MTF daily. MTF weekly. All together. Okay? That must have been very annoying for you guys to hear. I do apologize for this one. And we take the sell. Take the sell. This was just an intra, so close most of it at 100 pips. I'm still running a small percentage of this over here. Right? Close a majority of it at a 100 pips. 50 pips, 70 pips, I set to break even. When I first started off, 50 pips was my break even, 100 pips was my TP. Now 70 pips is my break even, 100 pips is my TP for intraday. This was just an intraday setup. I don't care. I don't know whether it's going to last, but it did. It lasted beautifully. Okay? So you take this trade. Now, what about the stacking? Right here. How did we perform this? Very easy. I think you guys already know. Why? I hope you guys asked this question to yourself. Why did I enter the sell at this daily? Very simple. Always ask why. If I entered this sell here, I ask myself why. If I entered this sell here, I ask myself why. You want to know why I entered my sell here? I entered the sell here on this daily. in anticipation that we have a daily reject daily and a H4 bearish breakout, so that the next day I can go and take the retracement sells. And that's secondary. First thing is I want to have in anticipation of a daily bearish storyline starting. That's the first reason. Okay, whether I take trades in the later days, that's a separate thing. So the reason I took this is in anticipation that the storyline starts, not because there's already a daily bearish storyline. No, not because there's already one. I took this in anticipation that it starts. Then I took the further sells because there was already a daily bearish storyline and there was no daily bullish storyline. Okay, so what happened here? We took the sell in anticipation for a daily bearish storyline to start. From where? From where? From here. Daily rejects daily. Go and check the H4 for a breakout. Breaks out right there in this broker. On my broker here, if you observe the charts, on my broker here, the breakout was actually right there. Or probably like sell buy or something over here. You would have to, in this case, Avi, what do you do in this case, Avi? Don't just ignore it. Tell us what to do. Simple. Go open up the line chart. That'll show you the actual formation, the actual sell buy formation. If you get confused because of the gaps, etc., no problem. I think I opened the line chart over here, to be very honest with you. So yes, that was a breakout. Hope you guys understood it. So that means what? Daily bearish storyline. Monthly bullish, weekly bullish, but daily's bearish. So how can we expect? Boom, boom, boom. Right, where we don't have all three of those time frames together. Okay, that is a rule. There's always exceptions to that. I want you guys to understand it. So then what happened was very simple. You know, I just went and took the sell off of this. If you actually observe, buy, sell, that would have been your first. Would have been your first opportunity. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this first opportunity. So over here we have ourselves a daily bearish storyline, meaning we look for H4s to sell from. H4 over here, okay, no problem. Let's go H1. See what happened. This is the first area that we're looking at, right? Let's go take a look. No problem. This is your H4. Okay, this is your H4. What I would have done would probably be to refine this just like that, and you could have it just here. So you have maybe one entry at the top here, one entry at the bottom. Okay, over here, right? Take your sell. You can already see if you were to have had a 50 pips break even, 50 pips would have been your break even, then you would have been hit out, which no problem. You just hit break even. What's the problem, right? Anyway, if you're an intraday trader, at your break even is also where you take partial profits, maybe, right? These are rules that you have to set for yourself. I'm giving you guys ideas here, okay? But regardless, we never hit our stop loss, ever. Our stop loss is all the way up here, okay? So how can we have hit our stop loss? Then price just tanks to 130 pips. So if you held, you would have taken out your intraday. You would have taken your intraday profits. Okay. Now you guys saw that I also took the buy. I also took this buy. I believe so. I believe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I believe I also took this buy. And the reason for the buy was incredibly simple. Okay. The reason for the buy. So yeah. So hold on. Let's stick to this, right? We've already talked about. Oh man, I deleted the. It's right here. We've already talked about the first and these two sells, right? So you understand the first sell. I hope you guys understand this. This is just a weekly, daily, H4, H1, take a sell. Then after that, daily reject daily, daily bearish storyline, correct? You guys understand this, right? Daily bearish storyline, right? And we have ourselves here, have ourselves over here. So you guys, yeah, let me just take this, right? H4, go to the H1. Nothing fresh. Here's the fresh, but there's a H4, no problem. Place it here, entry here, stop loss, 30 pips, 32 for the spread. That's it. Usually there's a 2 point or 20 point spread or something like that on your broker, right? That's it. That's your sell. Then you hold 50 pips, break even, or maybe if you're like me, 70 pips break even, and then hold for the 100 pips. That's it. I mean, there's nothing else you need to do. So before price came up, guess what price did? These are things you have to be very aware of. I don't have the screenshot with me right now. I don't actually have the screenshot with me. But what did price do? Price actually gave us an intraday setup for a buy. Not a new storyline. Not a daily bullish storyline. But it gave us a daily intra setup for buy. Let me show you. We sold. And on that same day, we had a daily reject daily. On that same day. daily, reject daily. Daily, reject daily from the top, daily, reject daily from the bottom. What do we do here? Very nice question. What do we do here? I want you guys to observe, it's not about what we do in theory, what actually happened during that time. Again, we have a daily reject daily at the top, daily reject daily at the bottom. What actually happened at that time? Don't worry, I'll show you the H4, no problem. Which one do you trust to hold, and which one will you take for an intra? I mean, the fact I just gave you an answer right there. Let me drink some water, bro. Caffeine, bro, like coffee, really makes like my throat so dry. You know, it just makes me want to drink a lot of water. That's something I never get with tea, you know? It's funny. It's funny because they're both drinks that contain caffeine. Okay. What happened? Daily reject daily, H4 bearish breakout. Means what, guys? Means what? Daily bearish storyline. Then at the end of the day, look, at the end of the day, price comes down here. See this fresh daily support? See this fresh daily support? Price comes down here. Daily reject daily. Am I right? Am I right? It says daily reject daily support. Correct, right? Okay. Now, go and look at what happened. The next day, what happened? This is the next day, right? So this was Monday, this was Tuesday. On Tuesday, I saw this. I saw that the daily reject daily resistance actually started a storyline. Why? Because this is a H4 bearish breakout. However, the daily reject daily support never started a new storyline. Why didn't it start a new storyline? Because there was no H4 breakout. But it did give us that sell by new support. Remember how I told you there were two setups, right? There are two types of setups mainly. You have, for example, let's pick daily. Daily reject daily, new resistance or new support, or daily reject daily, new storyline starts because of a breakout. Correct? So both of these happen. The second formation, which is storyline, and the first formation, which is just a medium risk buy. Well, price actually came down first, I believe. Price came down first and then went back up. Yeah, exactly. So you can see how that it's just magic, isn't it? I mean, isn't it like literally kind of like magic? Okay. Price did daily reject daily down here. Focus on the buy. Focus on the buy first, guys. Focus on the buy first, because that's what happened in real time. Price came in, daily reject daily, new support. Daily reject daily, new support. H1. What do we have here? This is your H4. These are your first two zones that are together. One here, one here, one here. You never know which one it's gonna tap. Okay? So I believe there may have been like a trend line or something that I would have chosen personally. I'm not sure because the candlesticks are printing differently, broker to broker. But that was definitely a trend line that you could have done, that you could have taken. Maybe this. Yeah, for sure. Look. Focus on that's why I don't like to show you guys the line chart. Focus on the buy sell candle. Buy sell, that's two. Buy sell, you draw it on the first candle, right? And that's your trend line. That's literally your trend line. There's no argument to be made there. That's literally your trend line confluence. So anyway, daily reject daily creates a H4 MTF with H1. Maybe you can split your risk. Let's say you're doing 0.50, you can do 0.30, 0.20. You can do and you could have two opportunities for entry. So 0.20, 0.30, whatever, something like that you can do. So you guys want to know the answer as to why I entered from here? This is the reason why I entered. So I'm giving you the answer already. Because over here we had a daily reject daily. Listen. We had a daily reject daily support. Very, very simple, guys. I need you guys to understand this. It's very simple. Daily reject daily support, H4 new resistance or H4 new support. That's it. That's your opportunity. After the H4, because there's a long wick, you want to find out when there's a long wick left behind. Usually it means in the ends of these wicks there's something else at the end. There's something extra over there. Okay, there's something extra. Usually that's what it means, and there is on the H1. Okay, but you have to take a risk. Sometimes you have to take a risk. This was a news trade, by the way. So usually news trades react to the first thing that's there. Not always, but usually that's what happens. It usually reacts to the first thing that's there, the nearest thing that's there with a trend line, whatever. And then what happens, guys? After this trade takes place, and then what happens? Remember, we had the actual daily storyline above here that we should not be ignoring. Daily reject daily. H4, bearish breakout. Leaves behind what? Over here, we already know. We had that initial. So we can't use this anymore. This is already used. We can't use this, already used. We have a apex. Price comes up. H4 to H1. So simple. Nothing on the H1, no problem. We take these, right? Here's another example of last resort, please. Here's another example of last resort, please. Thank you so much. Why is this the last resort, even though it's tested? Simply because if price breaks this, what happens? Oh, guys, listen. This is the best example of last resort. I think the coffee is wearing off. We have ourselves a daily bearish storyline because of this. If price breaks this, do we have a daily bearish storyline anymore? No, it's not that we don't. It's just that we don't have entry opportunities anymore. Because for us to say that we don't have a daily bearish storyline anymore means what? Means that there has to have been a daily bullish storyline to have started, correct? Just because price breaks entry opportunities doesn't mean that the opposite storyline has started. No, we need to have daily reject daily support, H4 bearish break, H4 bullish breakout. Then we have daily bullish storyline. Now we have daily reject daily, H4 bearish breakout. So we have bearish still. If price breaks these and flies up, we don't have any opportunities for this entry anymore. For sure, but doesn't mean that the storyline has changed. Very important, guys. So, daily, reject daily, H4 bearish breakout, H4 new resistance, refined to last resort. So maybe, for example, if you're putting 0.50, you could put 0.25, 0.25. That's what I would probably do. And yeah, I took this trade. Definitely I took this trade, right? I'm showing it to you right here. You can see how there's two. Over here on my broker, I entered one because of the open close and another one because of the apex. That was my genuine, honest reason. One because of open close, one because of apex, and then just 32 pip SL I think I had. And there was barely any drawdown anyway. I don't think there was any drawdown much. Yeah, 20 pip drawdown, you're perfectly fine. You're good to go. Okay, and yeah, that is pretty much your sell. Okay, so I want to know how much time we have left. We have 27. Okay, we're 27 minutes in. So I think we will. No, we won't stop there. Okay, we have talked about this. So a quick summary again. We'll do a summary after this. We've talked about this sell. Weekly we're in, weekly to daily, daily to H4, H1, sell. And then over here, we would have been stopped out, but no problem. Tuesday, we look back at Monday's candle. We see, oh, daily reject daily, H4 bearish breakout, daily bearish storyline has started. But over here, we have ourselves a daily bullish setup. So we can take the daily bullish setup with a lower lot size because it's medium risk, and then sell from the daily bearish storyline because we actually have a daily bearish storyline. Don't forget about that. Okay. So yeah, we sell. Over here, why do we look for buy? Very simple. We have ourselves a weekly support. As I said, this actually did get tapped into. We hit to the daily MTF weekly MTF H4, MTF with H1. Jalade. Okay, use your trend line, whatever. That would have been your entry for the buy, which I also entered, but for some reason I don't have a screenshot of that entry. There we go, right here. I didn't have a screenshot of when it pulsated up. Ew, excuse me, of when it burst up. Okay, but as you can see, that's the entry, right? 1969 point something. So yeah, that's the reason for that entry. And then at the top here, I missed the trade, but the top over here would have been a great trade for us to take as well. The reason I say it would have been a great trade for us to take is simply because we had ourselves a buy sell. We're just playing with dailies at this point, because at this point we still haven't had the weekly turn bearish on us yet. So we're just playing with dailies. So we had the buy sell, that's a resistance. Price enters into the resistance, hit to the H4. We see we have ourselves a H4 MTF with the daily. We have another sell buy. Okay, H4 MTF with the daily. We simply refine that. We can only choose like two. Okay, we have one here which would have been stopped out, and another one right here which may have been stopped out too, who knows. Yeah, if your pips at 32, you would have been stopped out on this one too, but just want to give you guys a reason as to why, you know, price trade from there. I never took this trade because I completely missed it, but it would have been great. I think I would have been stopped out though, so that's perfectly me being honest with you guys. And then price comes back down. So what am I thinking over here? Really simple. You have to understand that we We have ourselves the buy, sell, daily reject this daily. See this buy, sell, daily reject daily. After that daily reject daily, we have ourselves a H4 bearish breakout. H4 bearish breakout like that, which means daily bearish storyline. Okay, and over here we have that same thing that happened over here, how we have daily reject daily and a lower time frame setup. We have a daily reject daily, hit to the H4, we have a H4 open close, and I see a long wick, which means what, guys? Which usually means there's something hidden on the H1, so we should refine. Hit to the H1, get ourselves this bad boy right here, call it a day. That's it. Take this entry. This is just, that's why I said this is just going to be a daily intra. Okay, why is this a daily intra? Because for us to say that price is going to hold, see this one, sell from here, if price is going to hold here, we need to have what? A daily bullish storyline start. But a daily bullish storyline didn't start. In fact, the daily bearish one did. Look, buy, sell, resistance, price taps into the resistance, daily reject daily, H4 bearish breakout. Okay, we're sort of playing between daily bearish, daily bullish, daily bearish, daily bullish, right? One has to not happen, okay, or break. One has to not happen or break. Okay, so the reason why I bought in here is very simple. It's just daily rejected daily, H4, right? We have one over here, but this is so high up, you know, this is so high up, and there's a huge wick behind this. It doesn't matter if it's so high up, but if there's a huge wick, it usually means there's something hidden on a H1. Those are the two guys that we can play off of. And I think this one had a pretty nice trend line. I'm not sure where, again, I can't remember some of these trend lines. But yeah, regardless of whether you did or you didn't have, that's still a very valid trade, right? You guys can understand why that's a valid trade. And then what were my other entries? Yeah, I hope you guys understood that one. That was pretty easy. This was the yesterday's entry. Beautiful, beautiful entry yesterday. This one at the top here. That is actually because, now we can delete all of these. That was actually because we already had ourselves a weekly reject weekly. See, last week we closed weekly bearish, weekly reject weekly, and then daily had a breakout. See here? Daily breakout. You need to start seeing it without the line chart though. Sell, buy, boom, breakout. Weekly reject weekly, daily breakout. And so your first entry could have been over here. Sell, buy, that's the support, gets broken. Hit to your H4. And yeah, this has already been tested, so that's okay. We have that. That's the next one. It's the next area. I didn't take this trade. If you guys are wondering whether I took this trade, I absolutely did not take this trade. Absolutely did not take this trade. But it was a fine trade. It was an okay trade, I guess. It was good because daily MTF H4, MTF H1. You know, it was an okay trade. I didn't quite like it, and the reason I didn't quite like it is because we just have a H4 that's just sort of just in between there. It's a H4 that is within an engulfing, because this is a bearish engulfing candle, right? It is a H4 open close that's within the engulfing. I just didn't quite like it, to be quite honest with you guys. So instead, what I did, I took the one that's above it, which was right here, buy sell candle. And anyway, from this area, price didn't even do a daily reject daily. See, price actually disrespected it. So I already know, okay, price didn't do a daily reject daily, price disrespected it, so price may actually go up and take the top zone. That's what happened. So we're in weekly bearish. Weekly bearish, we play from daily resistance, daily to H4, right? I don't know if I saw anything in here. Yeah, there's something in here, but I don't think I took that one. Didn't really bother about it too much. Over here, we don't really bother about this. We have ourselves an open close though. Let's see what we have on the H1. We have ourselves a H1 with a last resort. Last resort is not this. Last resort will be this. The highest one, regardless of whether it's tested or not. What's the bottom part of the zone? Bottom part of the zone is the H4 open close. What's the top part of the zone? Top part of the zone is the last resort. Why is this a last resort? Very, very simple. This is a last resort because this is a daily bearish. This is a weekly bearish storyline. This is also a daily bearish storyline. Okay, in the sense that if price breaks this area, buy, sell. If price breaks this on the daily, so if let's say daily comes up and the daily candle breaks this, guess what? We would actually have a weekly bullish storyline now. Why? Why would we have a weekly bullish storyline if price breaks that area? Because price would have rejected off of this, and although previously, as a result of the rejection, we never had a daily bullish breakout. See, weekly reject weekly, we never had a daily bullish breakout, right? But again, second way is price can, in the process, break up. During the process, price can break out. So if right now, let's say right now, price goes and breaks this, right? Like there's a candle or something, that daily candle that breaks this, weekly is going to turn bullish, because weekly reject weekly, and then daily has turned bullish by breaking this guy out. But that's not happened yet, which is why this would be my last resort. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot for you guys to digest, but I'm glad that I made it into a video, one video, so you guys can get everything in this one video and you don't have to wait. And yeah, I think that's enough for this weekend, because this is a lot, bro. This is a lot for you guys to digest. And the reason it's a lot is because we're in a range. We're stuck in a trading range. So there's a lot of buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. It sounds confusing at first, but it's actually so simple. And I think I'll create a summary video on these breakdowns, so you guys just purely understand the breakdown with less chit chat. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one, man. Peace out.